Good evening. Konbanwa. Tonight we are riding to Tokyo Tower. Even though Tokyo Tower is no longer the tallest structure in Japan, it remains a proud symbol of the country. And its history, as you'll see, makes it truly irreplaceable. In 1953, NHK and several private companies began television broadcasting. This led to a situation where each station started building its own small transmission tower. The Japanese government feared that Tokyo would soon be overrun by dozens of ugly competing antennas. Not only that, but these scattered towers cause technical interference with each other. To fix this, they needed one massive, centralized antenna, tall enough to broadcast a clear signal with a radius of about 150 kilometers across the entire Kanto region. At that time, Japan was still rebuilding the country, and the government took this opportunity to create a landmark that would symbolize Japan's rebirth. A symbol that would show the world it had risen from the ashes of World War II as a modern, technological powerhouse by building something that could rival Western icons. So the government gave 400 men a mission that sounds straight up impossible. Build a TV broadcast antenna tower taller than the Eiffel Tower, a world record at the time, and do it in just 18 months. The Japanese are hard-working people. This was a matter of national pride. These 400 men were traditional high-rise ironworkers, known as Tobi, a name they share with a common bird of prey in Japan, known for soaring high and circling in the sky. When the engineers showed up and suggested using safety gear, they refused. Harnesses are just going to slow us down, they said. They took more than 10-hour shifts every single day. Can you imagine? You are at an incredible height. The wind is howling at 15 meters per second, and you're standing on a narrow steel beam with zero safety harness. No nets, no ropes. Nothing but your own balance keeping you from a one-way trip to the pavement down there. One wrong move, one accidental slip, and it's over. This was their daily working conditions. Not only that, but before modern welding was common, they joined those massive steel beams together using the red-hot rivet technique. Rivets are solid metal pins that had to be glowing hot to work. On a small platform, sometimes 100 meters in the air, a worker called a heater had a small charcoal furnace. He would heat a steel rivet until it was glowing orange hot, about 800 degrees Celsius. Once it was soft enough to be shaped, the heater would pick it up with long tongs and fling it through the air toward the joint where the steel beams met. Another worker, standing on a narrow beam with no harness, would catch that glowing hot rivet using a metal bucket or a specialized glove. A third worker would immediately jam the hot rivet into a hole in the steel and hit it with a hammer. Because the metal was hot and soft, the end would mushroom out, sealing the beams together forever as it cooled and contracted. They did that 280,000 times without dropping them on the city below. Think about the coordination required to never miss a catch while the wind is blowing at 15 meters per second. The architect was inspired by the Eiffel Tower as a proven model for a self-supporting steel lattice tower. It was designed with observation decks to allow citizens to see their city from a perspective they have never experienced before, and also to survive big earthquakes. They chose a height of more than 333 meters to ensure the tower was tall enough to transmit even as more buildings began to rise in the city, making at the time the world's tallest broadcasting tower, and the tallest structure in Japan until the construction of the Tokyo Skytree in 2012. 13 meters taller than the Eiffel Tower, while weighing roughly 3,300 tons less. About 1/3 of the steel used for the tower was scrap metal from the US tanks damaged in the Korean War, roughly 90 tanks. Local ghost stories tell that the souls of the soldiers are trapped in the structure, leading to strange cold spots or the sounds of metallic whispering and moaning heard by the maintenance crews late at night. But the strangest tale isn't a ghost story, it's a physical mystery. In 2012, during a major renovation of the antenna tip, this is 300 meters in the air, workers found an old, weathered baseball tucked inside a structural gap. There is no logical explanation for this. You can't hit a home run 300 meters high. A bird can't carry it and put it there. The only theory is that the Tobi placed it there as a prank back in 1958, only to be found 54 years later. Here it is, our destination, Tokyo Tower. The tower is gorgeous, but so is its reflection on the nearby skyscrapers. Just look at that. A final peekaboo game with Tokyo Tower. You can see it between the buildings. Those are famous places to take some pictures. Against all odds, they did it. In just 14 months, they completed their mission. Next time you gaze at it, remember these stories, and don't forget also its cost. Not everyone made it to the finish line. One worker, a young Tobi, lost his life after a gust of wind knocked him from a height of 63 meters, roughly 1 year into the project. It's a heavy reminder that this symbol wasn't just built with steel, it was built with grit and sacrifice. There is one last story about Tokyo Tower I want to tell you. It is said that if a couple is standing together, watching the moment the tower lights turn off at exactly midnight, they will be granted eternal happiness. Their love will last forever. In reality, it's just maintenance. The city turns the lights off to save energy and check systems. But pop culture dramas in the 90s turned this simple maintenance routine into a mandatory romantic ritual. Hundreds still gather near Shiba Park every night, just to see the glow disappear. I'm not usually one for superstitions, but I wouldn't be so quick to dismiss it though. I've definitely been on the receiving end of that sensoji omikuji, good fortune luck, myself. We arrived at Tokyo Station. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed spending this time with me and maybe learning something interesting. Until we meet again, be happy. Matane.